50 million Americans smoke cigarettes. Most of them want to stop, but can't break the habit.
I don't know how many times I've quit smoking. Like last week, that was going to be my last cigarette. I'd stopped so many times before, I felt that I had to do something really symbolic. That's my husband, Tom. He's very enthusiastic.
I decided to quit smoking.
Great.
Collar really works. Turns that jungle of ticks and fleas into a nice, safe place for your pet. To kill both ticks and fleas, the right collar...
Although some people can go cold turkey, many find it impossible.
It wasn't that I enjoyed it so much. I just felt like I really needed it.
I thought you were gonna quit. You want to end up like your Aunt Margaret? She has emphysema so bad she can't walk up a flight of stairs.
It doesn't happen to everybody.
Heavy criticism doesn't help. The best thing you can do is give them support.
I'm really glad you're trying to quit, Marie. And I know it's hard.
I cannot stop smoking on my own. Heaven knows I've tried, but I can't do it. But I found out where I can get some help.
Stop smoking groups can be found in almost any community. They offer many different ways to stop, including saturation smoking, electric shock, self-hypnosis, acupuncture, and intense personal counseling. But the most common system, the one used by the American Cancer Society and many other groups, is similar to this method.
The thing I want to emphasize tonight is that the single most important thing for you quitting smoking is you really wanting to stop. And pressure from your spouse or other friends or guilty feelings won't be helpful for you. And we can try to offer different kinds of techniques and exercises, but the key factor is your motivation for wanting to quit yourself.
The cigarette habit is made up of many well-learned physical motions, and they're repeated day after day, year after year. If you want to see how well learned they are, try changing the way you light up.
Now, they told us to try this experiment. Now, I'm right-handed, and I'm going to try and light a cigarette with my left hand.
Put the cigarette in a different part of your mouth than you usually do. And if you're right-handed, light it with your left hand.
I used to do this opposite, too. I would burn myself. Ooh, I got the cigarette.
Take the cigarette out of your mouth with the hand other than the one you normally use.
That's pretty good.
And try flicking an ash. For many people, it'll be like smoking for the first time.
Hey, all right.
Remember your first cigarette?
Nothing else? It's beautiful. I'll let you drive it when you get your license. All right. I can't wait. No, thanks. Nah. Be a man.
The first cigarette is never really a pleasure. It's usually smoked because of social pressure. If you've smoked a pack a day for 20 years, you've gone through these physical motions 146,000 times.
It's bad for my health. I hate that taste in my mouth in the morning.
You can't expect any method to work unless you really want to stop.
Tom.
You may quit for a while, but unless you're really determined, there's a good chance that you'll go back to cigarettes.
It's a bad example for the kids. I really want to stop. So I'm making a list of all the reasons I have for quitting.
Angela, what have you done? I told you not to bring the dog in here. I told you not to feed the dog, and I want you to clean up that mess right away. Now, come on, Phineas. Out you go. Come on.
Stopping smoking has to be important enough to you so that you'll get through those tough moments when you do anything for a cigarette. And it's a good idea to keep the list handy to remind yourself why you want to quit.
This is a very important tool in learning how to stop, a 3x5 card. Every time I smoke a cigarette, I write it down at that moment. I write down the time, what I'm doing, and how much I want the cigarette, rating it 1 through 5. 5 is the highest rating.
Besides writing down your cigarettes, there are other things you can do to make smoking more difficult. Put away all your smoking accessories, ashtrays especially, and do it without cleaning them. That way, if you're ever tempted to take them down, you'll be disgusted by the filth. Use a saucer. It'll remind you of how dirty the habit is. It's a good idea to start some sort of exercise program that requires a lot of breathing.
Another trick I have is to hide my cigarettes. At work, I keep them in the back room.
What we're going to have to do instead is get everybody out of the back room, away from the computers, sit at the desk, put the templates together on top.
Sometimes it just isn't worth the hassle. So I'll have a substitute instead,
About 3 or 4
like a glass of water.
I don't have any commanding marks.
Thank you.
Oh, good cigarette. Nothing like a cigarette after you get through eating.
Yeah.
Another powerful urge for a cigarette comes right after you finish a meal.
Almost 20 years now.
To avoid it, get up immediately from the table and do something else.
I really gotta get going. I'll see y'all later.
Okay, bye now.
Bye, Steve.
Going for a walk with a non-smoker will often make you forget that you wanted a cigarette. It's usually a good idea not to tell anyone that you're stopping.
Listen, I don't know why I should give up smoking. My grandfather smokes and he's 85 and it hasn't hurt him at all.
Smokers feel threatened. If you're stopping smoking, it means they should.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. If you want to stop, just stop.
Non-smokers will wonder why you make such a big deal about it. Since they were never addicted to cigarettes, they'll never understand how hard it is to stop.
I woke up one morning and just decided to quit smoking. Now, that was 20 years ago, and I haven't smoked since. It was easy.
Those who succeed at cold turkey will boost their egos by implying how much more willpower they have.
That's great. So I'm writing down every single cigarette on this index card?
Some will be sympathetic, but will say things that are not to encourage.
It's hard.
But you know, that's when I gained all my weight.
How does he now?
Mm-hmm.
The only people you should tell are the members of your family. They're going to have to live with you while you make the transition.
But it's going to be hard. So bear with me.
If friends ask what you're doing, explain it as simply as you can.
Every time I want a cigarette, I write down on this index card the day the time it occurred and what I'm doing and how badly I want the cigarette.
So which one, where are we?
We're right here. I wrote down coffee earlier. I'm having coffee with you and I want a cigarette now and I want it about a 2. That's how I would rate it and write the 2 there. And then I light up after I've written down the rating. I've really gotten to know my habit. When I take the rating forms for each day and line them up like this, I discover something really interesting. I smoke a cigarette about the same time each day while I'm doing the same activity. I smoke while I drive, when I'm busy, when I'm nervous, when I'm bored.
Look at the 1s and 2s, the low-rated cigarettes. Think of a substitute for each of these cigarettes, and instead of lighting up, rely on the substitute.
I know you just moved into your house, and I want to ask you, Elizabeth, the linoleum in our kitchen is like it's puckering. I found I always smoked while I was on the phone, so I decided to attack that part of my habit first. Instead of smoking, I doodle. I come here to pick up the kids every afternoon, and I'd normally have 1 or 2 cigarettes while I was waiting. And I'd rate these cigarettes probably 1 or 2, but now I come equipped. In my purse, I now carry lifesavers, chewing gum, toothpicks, and I even have my toothbrush. And now I'm into novels. I have time to read while I'm waiting, and I don't even want a cigarette most of the time.
One of the big dangers of stopping smoking is to substitute food for cigarettes.
I can really put on weight if I don't watch it. So I stuff my fridge with vegetables and foods that are really low in calories. When I have a cigarette craving, a glass of water does wonders. And even a deep breath helps a lot. I always want to smoke a cigarette when I drink coffee, but I've changed the way I drink it, and that seems to help a lot. I'm drinking it black now, instead of with cream and sugar.
I like peanut butter and jelly. I like peanut butter and jelly.
Don't go too far, kids. Stop at the bend.
It's very common to have a big drop in the first couple of weeks, but in the following weeks, as you get to higher rated cigarettes, the process will be slower.
Well, Tim, I'm very happy to say this is my 4th day. I have gone 94 hours. Irma here is my buddy. We called each other up every day. And there's been a lot of support from the group.
It seems like everyone else is doing so well. I'm glad I have the group, but I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Saturday, all my in-laws.
You know what it feels like when you want a cigarette, like you got to have one right now? Well, hurry up, Angela.
I can't find the card for Sarah.
But you've been looking about 15 minutes.
Can't find the card for Sarah.
Oh, come on, sweetheart. Just take a couple and decide when you get home.
I can't find the card for Sarah.
Oh, Angela, what are her tastes so special? They're lovely. They told me that if I delayed just 1 minute, the urge would go away. I know they're right, but it doesn't make this moment any easier. I promised myself that I wasn't going to smoke at this party, but I was miserable. I wanted a cigarette. Somehow, I just couldn't enjoy myself. So I bummed one. I felt better immediately.
Oh, you know about that.
It's funny how quickly I reverted. I just gave up and went back to cigarettes. I stopped writing them down. I started smoking again in the car. And at work, I was always reaching for a cigarette.
What's happening here?
I know. I'm calling IBM to repair it. Don't look at me like I did anything. I just followed directions. It doesn't work.
In the day, it's been a practical disaster. I mean, that testing room has no windows, and I feel so... Listen, Tom just came home. I'll call you after supper. Hi, Pumpkin.
Hi. You still writing those down?
I got tired of it.
How many did you smoke today?
Listen, I found these new cigarettes on the market. 1 milligram of tar. And I have this special filter that I'm using.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. Angela and I are still breathing the smoke. And besides, you're not writing them down, which means you're probably smoking twice as much.
Listen, I thought you weren't going to bug me.
I'm not going to bug you. I just want you to realize what you're doing.
Listen, Tom, these cigarettes can't possibly hurt me. Listen, I just got tired of spots in the grass.
Look, I know it's a pain in the neck. It's just that you've come so far. I mean, how many cigarettes did you smoke last week?
Well, last week was good. The most I smoked in one day was 6, and one day I didn't smoke any.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's Monday, May the 9th, and I didn't even want a cigarette till I was driving to work.
Backsliding is part of the process. It happens to everyone. But don't give up. Just pick up where you left off and keep on going.
And I wanted it about a 4.
I'm down to about 4 cigarettes now, but I've become a compulsive toothbrusher. It's great. I can carry it anywhere, especially for the car, where I can do it in private. My dentist says it's good for your gums, because it helps prevent your teeth from falling out. My sense of smell has started to improve. And for the first time in I don't know how long, I've become conscious of cigarette smoke. I really don't like it. In fact, I've limited my smoking to only one place in the house.
There's a lot of stress, and a lot of other people smoke around me.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. How's
The
everybody?
last waltz.
Yeah.
I got a lot of support from these people. It would have been much harder to have done it without them.
Great, I'm really glad.
Sunday is going to be the end of the 8th week. That's going to be my quitting day. Cold turkey. I think I'm ready for it.
Okay, and we have the lubrication at $4. We have the oil, 5 quarts of 1040 at $6.75. We have a PF2 oil filter at $5.75. We have the transmission.
When I want a cigarette, I think of the 4 Ds. First is delay. If I wait just 1 minute, the urge will go away.
Labor, and we have an oil filter screen and gasket set at $9.75. We flush the radiator, and that's $10.50 for the radiator flush.
Then I take a deep breath.
$2.50 for the flushing, and we have 5 quarts of coolant at $13.
Then if I still want a cigarette, I drink water.
Drain and refill, and you have 10 quarts of fluid at $13.50. No, and we have the 2 rear tires that wasn't any good, so we replaced those.
Then if I still want a cigarette after doing all that, I do something else.
Listen, I've got a checkbook here.
Okay, well,
I'll pay for it.
the balance on that is $201.71. Okay?
Can I borrow your pen?
Yes, you may.
Delay. Wait 1 minute, the craving will pass. Deep breath really helps a lot. Drink water. As much as you want, this usually does it. Do something else. Get out of the situation that causes you to want a cigarette.
All righty, and that will do it.
Oh, thank you. I didn't realize it would be so much.
Well, you had let it go a long time. You should have taken a little better care of it.
I haven't smoked in some time now. Occasionally, I want a cigarette, but then I don't have one and the urge goes away. Okay. I'm going to feature all this time.
Let's see.
So we'll gang up against Daddy, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to feed him.
I'm Colonel Mustard.
Ooh, I've got the pretty one.
Shh, don't tell us. I'm proud of myself. I really licked it. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. It was really worth it.
One.
Daddy only got one. Now you have to roll.